and I'm not great at names with UFC, but Islam Makhachev as the pound for pound number one right now.
Pound for pound, I don't know yet. I don't know yet. I feel like John Jones is the greatest of all time in our sport. Um, and I feel like Tom Aspinall can achieve similar things. I also feel like they don't need to cross paths. I feel like there's welterweight at the moment. There's so many talented people, but it's a lot of moving parts. It's nobody has secured themselves at the top at right now, which means there's a chance for me to push for that belt. So that's what I want to go and do.
Going against a highly touted guy in Sharaputdin. What's your mentality going into this fight?
It's pure excitement, man. It really is pure excitement because, as you say, he's so talented. But again, I like to put myself up against as one of the best strikers in the world. So when I see another person that's got nice, tasty striking as well, like I'm like, yeah, I wanna challenge myself against that and kind of see how my style fits and matches up against it. So it's just pure excitement, pure excitement.
You think it'll be a entertaining fight with your strengths like that going head to head?
You know what? I certainly hope so. And I always try to make my fights as entertaining as possible, as well as obviously win them. But my style is always entertaining, but it can also be it can also force people into doing things that they may not want to do, just to survive almost, and try to guarantee their win, which is like wrestling, just clinching and holding me in places versus actually trying to win a fight, actually like to finish me. So I doubt he's gonna be like that. I think he's because he's undefeated fighter. I think he's gonna have a lot of confidence in his ability. Even when it's going wrong, I think he's still gonna believe that, he can dig his way out. So this should make for an entertaining fight.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Do you consider yourself the underdog because he is undefeated?
Nah, not at all. Not at all. I think coming into the UFC, I think there's a lot of question marks still. People still underestimated my abilities. But now that I've got there, I've gone there now, and I obviously had a couple of fights. But in those couple of fights, people have seen my ability now. They're like, okay, yeah, okay, I get it now. A great fight against Kevin Holland. Not as impressive fight against Ian, but it forced him again into a different game when everyone knows and can see how talented he is in his striking. He didn't even want to do that against me, so it did kind of still raise my stock with regards to my striking ability. So I think I don't see myself as the underdog in this one at all.
Do you change up your preparation or your strategy coming off that Ian bout?
Yeah, well, I've been doing a lot more jujitsu, a lot more wrestling, grappling, having fun with it, like really, really enjoying it and feeling a lot more relaxed in certain scenarios, certain positions. Obviously, still a long way to keep, improving and getting better, but I definitely feel better in that area, and I feel like it's only going to kind of help me with my striking because there's certain things that I may hesitate to do because I'm worried about getting taken down. But if I'm more competent in those areas, I can be all guns blazing when it comes to the striking. So I can throw a lot more, crazy punches and kicks, and which would definitely make for more entertainment.
Yeah. If you can get this one, are you eyeing somebody else who you'd want to fight next?
To be fair, no, not anybody specific, but I just want to obviously I had that loss, and I kind of just want to bounce back. I thought this was just a great fight, just for everybody, fans, UFC. Thought it was a great fight, so get the win, go back to welterweight, and I feel like there's welterweight at the moment. There's so many talented people, but it's a lot of moving parts. It's nobody has secured themselves at the top at right now, which means there's a chance for me to push for that belt. So that's what I want to go and do.
And as everything can come together for you, do you feel like you can hit that peak that everybody kind of tries to get to? And do you feel like you're close to being the peak of what you want to be?
Still a little bit more work, still a little bit more work, but yeah, definitely, definitely, and that little variation of change in my training has definitely helped. Couple of things I still want to work on, but that's obviously between me and my coaches. But Yeah, it's getting there. It's definitely getting there. And again, like as I look around, it's actually making me happy. I'm looking at some of the fights that have been happening in the welterweight division, and it excites me. It doesn't worry me. It excites me. So that's a good thing.
So I assume that's kind of your big goal is to eventually hold that title.
Oh, 100%, 100%. I want to get my hands on that title, and then from there, I'd probably move up. If I had my shot at the title already, I probably would, and then had this middleweight fight, I potentially would have stayed there because it's definitely a lot easier. It's definitely a lot easier in terms of weight, and it's not having to worry about that weight cut and stuff, or be as stressed about a weight cut. It definitely helps, especially over the Christmas period. It made it a lot more enjoyable. But because I haven't achieved that yet, that is my goal. Until I've done that, or I can say to myself that, you know what, maybe, it's not gonna happen, then I'm gonna move up.
Do you wish you joined UFC earlier in your career?
Nah, I feel like everything happens for a reason. Um, would it have been nice to get there and challenge myself a bit earlier, or maybe have some fights earlier? Yeah, maybe, but in all honesty, like I said, I feel like everything really, really and truly happens for a reason. I don't feel like it's as even though I'm the one of the senior fighters, I don't feel like I'm in a rush to do anything. Um, I do want to have exciting fights. I do want to fight regularly, but that's just because I'm excited about fighting. It has nothing to do with me feeling like I'm on my way out because my body feels amazing. I'm keeping up with all the youngsters in the gym. Like, if you didn't know me and you came and watched me train, you'd think I was as young as everybody else. So that's a good thing. Is when my body starts to falter in the gym in the preparation, then I need to consider hanging the gloves up. But for right now, seriously, I don't feel in a rush at all.
As you got older, did you wonder like if that would start to set in? Were you worried about it? Is like, mid 30s or something, like, am I going to slow down physically? And how refreshing is it that like, hey, you still feel like you're at the same point as when you were younger?
I find a lot of people speak on mid thirties, and I'm talking even before. So when I was in my late 20s, people speak about, oh yeah, when you get to 30, things slow down, and then mid 30s and blah blah blah. And then I had like my elders in the gym, and they're like, yeah, your body doesn't recover as much, and da, da, da. I think it was just lack of information. I think that side of things has gotten a lot better as well in terms of recovery because we beast ourselves so much in terms of learning. Okay, now today's a day that we need to kind of ease off the body. You need to take these vitamins and these nutrients, these minerals. Like we wasn't talking about those things before. Now we're talking about it, and now you see people at that age feeling amazing. And still, look at Marab the other day, unbelievable, unbelievable. And again, he was saying that he's been criticized about his age, and look what he did. He looked like the younger fighter in terms of how aggressive and how fit he was. He looked like the younger fighter. So I think there's so much more science to being able to keep your body younger regardless of your age. That is massively helping. So yeah, I think time's moving on, so you are going to see people being able to perform at a lot later in their age.
Hmm. Taking a look at Adesanya, Imavov, how do you see that fight panning out?
Man, I bet my house on Adesanya coming back, man. I know he's had a few ups and downs, but he's just got that mentality, that grind, that push. He wants to get back there. A lot of people, you see it with a lot of people, they lose the title and they almost lose their buzz and lose their motivation. For him, it seems different. He's that motivation, excitement. I've spoken to the team, and he's changed a few things around, and he's doing a few more things. Again, that shows excitement. That shows motivation still. Like he's trying to still make things work and change things and adjust things. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing what Adesanya turns up. Either way, he's gonna win.
Mhm. Do you have an itch to get back in the boxing ring at all? Is it mostly just UFC focus, or how do you feel about that?
Yeah, you know what, 100%. I just love combat. Full stop. As much as everybody. that knows me, my family, friends would hate me saying this. I would even do a bare knuckle fight again. But the focus needs to be a bit more um, tunnel vision right now and focus on that belt. No more distractions, no more anything else. Yes, in terms of as a question, yeah, I would 100% do a boxing fight, do a bare knuckle fight, do whatever, because I'm just excited for combat. It just I love the game of it. But in terms of what I'm doing right now, I need to be very very focused. And that is what I'm gonna do.
Are there any locations or venues that you still dream of being in, especially like maybe UK or US based?
Yeah, I still haven't fought in New York. I want to fight in New York. I would like to go back to Vegas only because they're doing the Sphere now, and I feel
Hmm.
like again I can already envision like the walkout because they got the screen that goes like 360 around you. I feel like that would just be an amazing experience. I'd love for UFC to go to Japan because I've fought over there. It's just a beautiful place, and it is like that country truly loves combat. And I'm talking the second we walked into the arena, the first fight goes on, there's not one empty seat. And you just don't get that. It's slowly drip feeding people comes in slowly over here in America. And then when the main events, the main card starts or the main event starts, everyone's in. But there they want to watch from the first fight right the way through. So yeah, I'd love to, if they end up going over there, I'd love to fight over there as well. Um, I'd go over to Australia as well. I haven't been on that side of the world, so I'd like to go on that side and fight over there. But yeah, I just like new experiences. So you know, anywhere that's new experiences for me, then yeah, I'll put my hand up and go.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. Um, we kind of talked about, the bigger profile, bigger money fights, and also like chasing after the belt. Would you have a preference at this point in your career, like going for the more bigger prestigious fights, or kind of climbing and trying to win that belt? Maybe they kind of wrap up together at some point, but does like one of those speak to you more?
So again, there's always gonna be. It depends. I feel like as a combat artist, the fight always will excite me slightly more. So, for example, me taking this fight doesn't really do me any justice in my progression in the welterweight division that I want to kind of progress in. But what a great fight! Do you know what I mean? So, if I have moments like that, I reckon I'd go for the fight. But like I said, as soon as I've done that, I'm coming back to tunnel vision, focusing on the specific kind of division that I'm in, and then kind of progressing there. But yeah, I feel like if there's a big fight out there to be made, 100%, I'll take a slight detour and take that fight.
Um, KSI, I think, like looking at it, is there a fight that would make sense now that this one's not going to happen?
To be fair, I'm not sure. Like I say, like I like to go to some of the events. It's enjoyable. The crowd are crazy, but I don't really pay attention a lot. I guess obviously the fight that everybody wants to see is going to be against Jake Paul. Because I feel that again, I understand it's a bit gimmicky. But some of the fights seem like it's not worth kind of tuning into. So yeah, I guess there's guys within that realm that maybe that or had already created names that they should match up against. But yeah, that's not my place to kind of pick and choose because I don't know enough about that world to be fair. I guess any celebrity could be a could be a target right now because that's the world that they're in. But yeah, in terms of where does he go from there, I'm not sure. I guess all arrows point to him and Jake Paul having an epic fight now that they've done quite a few fights like amongst themselves. So I think it'll be a great, finisher almost to have that fight.
Mhm. Um, do you see, and I'm not great at names with UFC, but Islam Makhachev, as the pound for pound number one right now? I know that's kind of been a discussion. Alex Pereira, John Jones.
Yeah, it's different. He's unbelievable. obviously the last fight wasn't a fight that we wanted to see. Um, um, with Roman, but um, sorry, Renato, sorry, but um, yeah, is he an incredible mixed martial artist? 100%. Is he like a force to be reckoned with? 100%. Pound for pound, I don't know yet. I don't know yet. He's definitely it's hard to relate pound for pound because you're when you say pound for pound, you're talking about the Demetrius Johnsons, you're talking about the John Jones, and those guys are epic. Those guys have beaten those guys have beaten and had some unbelievable fights. So to then try and relate to them too early is difficult. Pereira, he reminds me of like Erling Haaland. Like he's just come into football and he's just killing everything at the moment. But do you immediately peg them as the greatest of all time? Now, it's still a little bit early. Is he unbelievable? Yes. Is he super talented? Is he? Yeah, 100%. I can see the greatest of all time for him, and I'm a massive fan. But it's still early for for those guys. So we'll see.
Wanted to look at welterweight with Bilal Muhammad, still champ, and is probably defending the belt against Shavkat. How do you see that fight playing out?
Even before the fight was announced, I was asked like, who do you reckon would win out of those two? And I've always said Bilal. Um, it definitely made me kind of stick with that decision after watching Shavkat in the last his last fight. It wasn't the greatest of performances. There was talks of him having like an injury like in his camp as well. So that might be the reason why. But I just think stylistically, Bilal's gonna he can similar to what he did to Leon. He can press forward. His striking is getting better and better and better because he's okay with the grappling in the end. So he'll stay in the pocket. Shavkat likes to press forward as well. But I feel like he doesn't have a takedown. He's obviously got chokes and stuff, but doesn't quite have a takedown that is gonna do anything to Bilal. So I in that fight, I feel like it's Bilal that's gonna be the one pressing forward and pressing the fight. He just has to be careful. If he does go for a takedown, he has to be careful of someone that has, the grips like that. You can kind of tell he's got strong grips, that his head is not in the wrong place when he does it. He doesn't get, a choke attempt and then swept or a choke attempt and then submitted. But I still feel like, yeah, Bilal will take that one.
Hmm. And then if Tom Aspinall and John Jones do fight, you think what's kind of your thoughts on something like that?
I- I'm 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 I feel slightly differently, I think, than most. Obviously, I feel we have a habit of seeing greatness arrive in whatever sport, and then we're all waiting for that person, that greatness to fall.
Hmm.
And my thing is, let the greatness be great, and then let the new generation produce new greats. I feel like John Jones is the greatest of all time in our sport. Um, and I feel like Tom Aspinall can achieve similar things. I also feel like they don't need to cross paths. I don't want to see either of them ruin each other's kind of journey. I would love for maybe John Jones have one more exciting fight and retire, and then Tom Aspinall to just go on a killing spree and again be known as another great. 100%. I get why there's excitement there, but I just don't want to. I just want either person to have anything like anything to tarnish that reputation that they've built. That's me personally.
You think from their perspective, like, is it hard? I mean, obviously everybody has egos and wondering, believing that, hey, I would win this fight. Would it be hard to not do it? And like you said, they're kind of at different paths and different points in their careers. But just from like the perspective of within, like, I know I can win this, and I'd love to show everybody that I can beat him from both sides.
Yeah, that is that's the fighter in us all. We'd always want to prove ourselves. Um, and if they both honestly feel that way, then 100%, let's make the fight happen, and we get to, all of us get to enjoy the whatever happens at the end. But again, I'm just talking from my perspective. I just feel I just feel like it'd be good to just leave John Jones as to what he's done. I still class him as an undefeated fighter. And again, the names that he's gone through and the journey that he got it's unrivaled. There's nobody else that can tell me that they've got a list of people that they've destroyed that can match him. But yeah, if both fighters want to do it, let it be done, and let's see. I feel like um, Stipe shouldn't have had the fight. If there was a fight, it should have gone to Tom Aspinall, and if John Jones didn't want to have that fight, he should have left the title, relinquished the title, and then taken another like exciting fight. But don't block somebody else's journey. Allow them to continue, trying to be great. So I understand why Tom Aspinall was eager to try and get that fight. It might not even be just because it's John Jones. It's also because you're holding the belt. You can't hold up the belt and then pick and choose somebody else that hasn't really been performing. I think that was wrong for the UFC to allow. But yeah, moving forward, I feel like if John Jones doesn't want to kind of defend it anymore, put it to one side, allow Tom Aspinall to kind of go and take that, trying to achieve that, and then keep that and maintain that, and then you go and take some exciting fights elsewhere.
Yeah, yeah. Switching gears a little bit. Besides yourself, who from the UK do you think is most likely to challenge for a UFC title?
I feel like Jack, if he's got a difficult fight ahead of him, I think a lot of people underestimate Leon always, and I don't know why. But if he was to beat Leon, he 100% deserves to fight for that title next. And I think I believe they would give it to him. So if anybody deserves it, it's him.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that fight. Just looking at it a little deeper, what do you think about those two going up?
It's very difficult. It's very difficult, and the reason I say it's very difficult is because Jack is so good at scrambles. So when it comes to the grappling and stuff, very good at scrambles. Leon's actually a lot stronger than people might think in his grappling game, but his grappling is very different. His grappling is very static. Like he'll hold you in certain places, and when you guys, when you try to make space or try to get up, he'll slowly progress from there. So my thing is, who's gonna be better in that position when the scrambles are going on? And striking wise, Jack is so smart and very disciplined in how he lands his punches and throws his punches, throws his kicks. But then Leon is also very patient. So I think it'll be a very slow-paced fight, and it's only going to be when there's a grappling exchange where you see things speed up a little bit. So I think it's going to be to do with a few things: fitness, like I say, who's it factor is on that day. So for me, it's a very difficult one to be very sure of. I'd say you have to edge it. I think Leon's going to be that little bit stronger. So I might edge it to him purely based on his strength of striking. I think he's a slightly taller guy as well. He's got obviously he didn't look good in his last fight, but I honestly do believe fighting at 6 a.m. for a UK guy would have played a factor in anybody's fight. So I'm going to edge it slightly to Leon, but what a great fight.
Yeah. And Paddy, rumored to be fighting Michael Chandler next. Is that a winnable fight for him?
Sorry, who's he fighting?
I think they said, let me double check it.
Mm.
Paddy, yeah, Michael Chandler in lightweight.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I guess it's a rumor. I'm not sure if it's confirmed, but
if that is a real fight and it comes to fruition, it's a big jump.
yeah,
That's a very big jump up. The only thing is, for me, Michael Chandler is one of the most talented in terms of skill for skill across the border. For many people, I just feel strategy. He likes to. I feel like he likes to. He plays too much into making everybody enjoy the fight and impressing people versus just winning the fight. I feel like if he was a bit more tactical, he would win way more of the fights that he's actually, been in. Because for me, he tends to be the better in skill-wise. In terms of everywhere, like his grappling's better, his wrestling's better, his striking's better, like, but he just does some crazy stuff. Entertaining as it is, I feel like he could have, I think he could have won the title already. And almost nearly did. So it's a very big jump for Paddy. Very, very big jump. But it is a winnable fight if Chandler's reckless. If Chandler continues trying to just be entertaining and be reckless, it is a winnable fight. But I think he's going to be way more powerful. The takedown's going to be very easy. Paddy's going to struggle to submit somebody like him. He's not easy to submit at all. And yeah, I just feel like all arrows point to Chandler winning that fight. But again, if he's reckless, Paddy can definitely, he's that guy that will take that fight off.
Can Chandler rein that in? Is that just somebody's personality? If it's somebody's personality,
I guess. I feel like maybe he's just playing into it. Maybe he just needs someone to be like, no, you can win the title. Don't play into this or just being exciting all the time. And win some, lose some, win some. No, you are super talented. You can actually win fights. So let's get strategy in. Let's get focused on paying attention to the opponent in front of you and not just showing everybody all your skills. Everybody knows you're a skillful fighter. They can see it. Every fight you've had you can show your skill. Your whole career, you've shown your skill. Now let's get a little bit more tighter. Okay, we're not going to throw this. You can do this, but we're not going to do it against this guy. You're not going to do it against that guy and win fights.
And there's been some talk that Dana White might get into boxing promotion too. Do you think he could be successful in that side of it too?
Dana White is one of the greatest promoters of our time. Anything that he decides to promote, including slap fighting, who knew? As crazy as I think and stupid as I think slap fighting is, it seems to be popular. So, and again, with somebody like him behind it, he can promote anything. So yes, if he goes into boxing, he will do exceptionally well. He's already got a list of fighters that 100%. I know there's loads of MMA fighters that would be comfortable boxing as well, including myself. So he's already got a roster of fighters that will 100% jump over. And then there's going to be loads of people that would want to jump on his promotion just to have him behind them, marketing them. So yeah, he'll do exceptionally well.
What did you make of looking at boxing still? What did you make of Tyson Fury's retirement?
Yeah, I think he made a mistake trying to be. I think he put a bit too much size on, and I feel like he wasn't as fast as he could be or could have been in that last fight. And then the retirement, mate, he's retired about 7 or 8 times. So I don't believe that's over. There's definitely still that Anthony Joshua fight to be made that everyone would 100% tune in to watch, which means there's loads of money there to be made for him. So in all honesty, I think he retires, parties, gets out of his system, and then he comes back and looks for the next fight. I believe that will happen again.
And you think we'll get the Anthony Joshua fight at some point?
Yeah, again, those kind of things make a lot of money, especially with what the Turkey is doing with boxing and the money that he's throwing at people. I'm sorry, but like you could, if I could have been retired 10 years, if he throws a certain amount of money at me, I'm getting out of my bed. I'm going back to the gym. I think everybody's got a number that is like, why not? There's nothing bad can happen after getting paid like that. So I definitely see him coming back.
Yeah, like you mentioned, obviously these guys are getting big paydays. Is this, that part of it, is that a good thing for boxing as a whole? Is there any concern with that side of it?
I think it's a good thing in terms of the boxing so segmented that it's always hard to make fights. So you would need somebody with this kind of money to make these fights happen. So and I feel like he only cares about just making those fights happen and just bringing it all over to Saudi and, promoting Saudi. So it's good because fighters are going to get good pay and the crowd are going to get to see the fights that they want to happen at the time it should happen versus it being 5-6 years of go back and forth negotiation and speculation. We'll get to see these fights quickly.
Wondering if you saw Darren Till in Misfits with the knockout.
Yeah, yeah,
What'd you
yeah,
think?
yeah. Yeah, Darren. I've always known Darren Till's an exceptional striker. I knew he boxed as well. I've already I hear through from different people in different gyms that he's boxed. He does training with a lot of high level boxers, including like the likes of like Tyson Fury. And I've heard that it's not as straightforward as people think. You know, he's a competent boxer. Anthony Taylor again. He's gone from I don't even know what fighting the likes of Gallagher at like that weight, and he's just blown up. And I feel like he's just doing it because he can make money and he enjoys entertaining. But he that wasn't a I didn't expect anything other than what I saw happen.
And if we talked about the guys like Jake Paul and that kind of genre of it, do you think he could do good against those type of guys and those type of events?
100%. Absolutely, 100%. There's no way someone as talented as him wouldn't do well. There are some guys in there that can actually box. They're actually very, very, very competent. Like even what's his name? The young cat, Dean the Great, they call him. He can really box. Like, and again, I've seen him he's in a good gym in LA. That is they have super talented boxers in there, and he's up there with them. He can competently box, and there's a lot of other guys that are the same. So as much as we say they're YouTubers, some of them are very competent and have actually been boxing for a little while. So he has to be careful of those ones. There are some guys that he has to be careful of. I think Idris Virgo would be a good fight for him because he can box, so it'd be a tough fight for him. So there's guys like that he's gonna have to be careful of, but it'd actually make for an exciting boxing fight. And Jake Paul I don't think he's super technical, but you can tell he's heavy-handed. You can just tell he's heavy-handed by how he lands punches and how people respond to getting hit. You can tell he's heavy-handed. So again, he has to just be careful. You know, if he can be eyes wide open for 8 rounds, 10 rounds, whatever they decide to do, then yeah, he definitely beats him skill for skill.
Just a couple more before I let you go, but you think Till ever gets back into UFC?
I would like it. I'm not sure as to why they cut him, to be fair. It's just weird because you've got the Fergusons that can lose 12 fights on the trot and they'll keep him there. And I feel like Darren's very entertaining just as a character. So I don't understand. There might have been something personal. I don't know. So I don't understand why they would have got rid of him anyway. But yeah, I think I think the route that he's gone now, he won't get back in. But if he goes back into MMA, gets a couple of good fights again, I'm sure that he can get back into the UFC because again, great talent, great character, especially for like press conferences and stuff. He's a funny guy. So why wouldn't you have? And again, I'm looking at the UK card, and it doesn't look massively exciting. There's a couple of good fights, but in terms of from the bottom of the card all the way up, I'm not massively excited. And there's no disrespect to anybody. I'm just not massively excited. But then, if you had the likes of like a Darren Till that could, also add to the cards, I guess it definitely make it more exciting.
Mm-hmm. And then just talked about Jake Paul a couple times. And what did you make of the Mike Tyson fight? Obviously, a lot of people paid attention to it. It wasn't, I'm sure you, as a technician, you're not particularly impressed by it. What do you think of something like that, where it's obviously just kind of for show and to get ratings and to get eyeballs?
Yeah, again, I always try to put two hats on when I'm looking at it. I look at it from a fight fan, like from that perspective. And then you got to look at it from a business, putting business hat on and understand why these things can happen. Even down to, it was a good Kickstarter for Netflix to even now start incorporating live shows onto their thing. Live NFL's on there. They're putting the SmackDown and all the wrestling on there as well. I'm sure slowly, bit by bit, you're gonna start seeing football and start seeing like basketball, which is, for me, is great. So I understand from a business point of view, it's a great Kickstarter to kind of get everybody going, oh, they're doing live shows now, because it was definitely something that everybody spoke about. As a fight fan, I hated every second of it. And I hated even when it was announced. I didn't like it at all. I mean, I'll just leave it at that.